Premier League, the first one after the international break, and it was a very, very good game week, I must say. One of the best game weeks. We've had so much drama, so many big stories, big games, etc. I'm going to go through each game and give my thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comments below. We are missing out Wolves and Fulham because it's today, so I couldn't get that one done, but hopefully Wolves and Fulham fans don't feel too aggrieved about that. But let's get straight into it. Starting off with the early kickoff, Man City 1, Liverpool 1, goals from Erling Haaland and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, I am so annoyed that this is the early kickoff. Literally, why was this an early kickoff? This is probably the biggest game of the week and one of the biggest games of the season in terms of Man City Liverpool games are always fantastic. That being said, though, the atmosphere was still pretty good for a early kickoff. Anyway, so my thoughts on the game. So for City, I thought this was a real missed opportunity by them. I thought City were by far the better team in this game. However, they, especially in the second half, were really poor. I thought maybe it was a bit of complacency or something, I'm not sure. But first half, they were fantastic, creating loads of chances, dominating the game. And then the second half, they just sort of rested on their laurels a bit, weren't really up to it. Seemed like they were playing for a 1-0, and in the end got punished for it. And this is kind of what happened against Chelsea, to be honest. Not to the same extent, but they were, they thought they won it at the end, got a little bit complacent, and then conceded a goal. So yeah, I think that was maybe a bit poor game management by Man City in this game, playing for a bit of a 1-0. I thought they should have gone for it and tried to get that second goal, because they had more than enough opportunities in the first half. In terms of individual performances, there were actually some really good ones by Man City. Ake was terrific, he was fantastic for the goal from Haaland. Rodri was Rodri. Bernardo Silva, this guy absolutely loves playing against Liverpool. Always puts in a masterclass first. Jeremy Doku was fantastic. Phil Foden was really good as well. Seemed like, especially in the first half, City were targeting the right hand side of Liverpool, and to be fair, Trent dealt with it as much as he could up against someone like Doku, but it did work well for City. But in the end, as I said, they'll be really disappointed they didn't get the victory here, because they really should have. I thought they were the better team. Now as for Liverpool, I thought this was a fantastic result, absolutely fantastic. The performance was pretty abysmal, I can't lie, it was pretty poor by Liverpool. As you can see here, this is one of the first times this season where Liverpool actually really struggled to create chances. Only 3 shots on target, just 8 shots in the entire game, 40% possession. They were just not at it all, at all. The first half, they were completely dominated in my opinion. Second half, better, but they really struggled to create chances, break Man City down. Besides the goal, even the goal, it was a bit of a, out of nowhere, fantastic strike by Trent. Besides that, Nunes had like a chance in the first half, but that's really all I can think of in terms of Liverpool creating anything. Salah didn't do anything in the game. It was just a real off day in front of goal. They tried to press Man City, and I thought their press didn't really work. We saw last time Chelsea actually implemented a really nice press against Man City. Liverpool, I thought they could be able to do it. Liverpool, one of the best pressing sides in the league, but they really struggled to press them. And Alisson was abysmal. Alisson had an absolutely stinker. Completely miskicked his kick for the goal, and then got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out, and then also on corners they were targeting him, and it was very fortunate that he called it for a foul. I don't really think it was much of a foul in that, but it is what it is. Keepers get protected all the time. But having said all that, that is why this is such a big result for Liverpool, because that was a really bad performance by Liverpool, and they still went to the Champions Stadium and got a point. So that is massive for Liverpool, and a big point O'Shea got the own goal. I just thought it was Divin Mbamba who scored it, but oh well. Now let's start with West Ham. Because, I mean, I did think Divin Mbamba scored that. I guess they've given it to O'Shea, but speaking of Mbamba, he was someone who, if you remember at the start of the season, I tipped to be a breakout star for West Ham. He's a young striker, and I really think they need to give him more minutes because he looks really good. Really, really promising game on, and even if it wasn't his goal, was heavily involved in that goal. And what a turnaround by West Ham there. Incredible. Mohamed Kudus, insane. Incredible by him. Both goals, his dribble for I think the first goal was fantastic, and then set up the second as well. Both assists by him. He was sensational and showed his talent, showed his class there. And I mean, it was very unconvincing by West Ham. Very, very unconvincing. They were not good at all. Burnley, I thought, deserved to win that game compared to West Ham. But look, they got the job done. They got the win, and that's really all that matters. Although the performance was a little bit dodgy. Now Burnley. Oh God. You know, at this point, I just felt bad. I felt bad for Burnley. I think this game was probably their best performance of the season. I actually think it was their best performance of the season. I thought defensively they were great. West Ham didn't have many chances, controlled the game, created lots of chances, really direct. They played out from a back well. Their pressing was incredible. They forced West Ham into so many errors, but they still lost. Yeah, really poor. Now, I will say, Garnacho I thought was fantastic. He won the penalty, and I actually thought he could have won another penalty. Before that, I thought it was a pen. He was fantastic. And as I said, Burnley were great. Overall, it's just focus. They switched off for both goals. Both goals could have been prevented very easily. It was poor marking. Defensively just switched off for 5 minutes and they lose the game. And that is a harsh reality of the Premier League. And to be honest, this game kind of shows me why Burnley might not stay up, because if you can't focus for those 5 minutes, you can't focus for a full 90, then you're not doing anything in this league. So really damaging defeat for Burnley. Good win for West Ham. Moving on to the other promoted side, Luton 2, Crystal Palace 1. Goals from Denan Menke, Jacob Brown and Michael Elise. Now we'll start with Luton. What a victory. What a fantastic victory for them. That is their first home victory of the season, I believe. And fantastic against a good Palace side as well. I thought, they dug in defensively, really, really solid. See, this is where things differ from Luton to Burnley. Luton actually stayed focused, switched on for the full 90 minutes. And they gave it their all throughout the whole 90. There wasn't a moment where they switched off. And yeah, they fully deserved that. Or well, I say fully deserved. I actually thought Palace deserved to win, but from the performance, I think they deserved something. Ross Barkley had a fantastic game again, and fair play Jacob Brown, a very big goal by him. They got beaten back just after scoring. That's where, as I said, it differs. If that was Burnley, I think their heads drop, but Luton, their heads didn't drop. They counter-attacked and Jacob Brown got that goal in the end. But for the man of the match was this guy, Thomas Kaminski. Incredible performance by him. Pull off save after save. And to be fair, all season I think he's been incredible and one of the best keepers this season, actually. Quietly gone under the radar, but he looks like a top keeper. Now as for Palace, disappointing not to get the victory, but I thought their performance deserved at least a point. At the very least, as you can see here, they controlled the game, had plenty of shots. Kaminski just had an absolute blinder. Michael Elise. Now, before Sunday, I was going to say this is probably the goal of the season. It was absolutely incredible. His goal, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. pass on his full return from injury. That is exactly what Palace were missing. But, I mean, we'll come to it. I think he's already been beaten, unfortunately. But a big concern for Palace in this game was injuries. Eze picked up an injury after coming back from injury. I don't think, apparently it's not too serious, which is good, but that's not ideal. Czech Dukorevo picked up an injury which apparently is quite bad, and that is a big loss in the midfield because he is one of their key players, so more injuries for them, which is annoying, but yeah, fantastic victory for Luton, decent performance by Palace. Okay, Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1. Alright, let me get the Newcastle stuff out of the way first before I get into another rant of the season with Chelsea. So, fantastic victory for Newcastle, considering all of those injuries they had to play Chelsea, who are coming into this on good form and below them out the park 4-1. That is incredible. And I thought the intensity by Newcastle was incredible. It was incredible. Their pressing was so good. Intensity, as I said, so good. The tempo they set was so fast for Chelsea. Chelsea could not cope. And they thoroughly deserved that victory. Fantastic result for them, especially before that PSG game. And, you know, they were even able to rest a couple of the boys as well. Lewis Miley, good performance by him as well. An academy graduate, so yeah, just terrific, absolutely terrific for Newcastle. Okay, time for, what is it, like the 5th, 6th rant of the season for Chelsea. Right, this was the worst performance of the season, and probably one of the worst Chelsea performances I've seen in a long time. And the reason for that is because Newcastle are a great side, they're good at home. I was expecting a tough game, but as I said, they have about 500 injuries. They had 3 goalkeepers on the bench, a bunch of academy graduates on the bench. The only non-academy graduate or goalies on the bench were Matt Ritchie and Paul Dummett. And we got smacked up 4-1. And I think the reason this was also so bad is because it looked like the players didn't even try. It looked like they gave up. They didn't want it. I said Newcastle's intensity was fantastic, but you know that you should be prepared. Newcastle at home, they're going to give 110% and going to stick it on you, and you need to be prepared for that. And it looks like Chelsea players had just woken up and out of bed. They were rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Mark Cucurella for the first goal. What is he doing? As I said, lazy, slow, didn't push up with the rest of them, played Isaac on side. Buddy Shield, poor Thiago Silva, one of his worst games in a long time, had an absolute howler for, I think it was the Joel Linton goal, yeah. Reece James, your captain, and he gets sent off for the most immature stuff. The first one, he's literally kicked the ball away. When was it? I think it was, 55th minute. We're drawing at 1-1, and you're kicking the ball away to time waste. What are you doing? Immature. Raheem Sterling, fair play. Fantastic free kick. Enzo was alright. Ugochukwu, I'm not going to blame him. He got chucked in to the deep end. Didn't have the best game, but he didn't get any support from midfielders around him. Palmer, Ball, Gallagher, one of his worst games of the season. Absolutely rubbish. Jackson didn't really have much service. It was just rubbish. And as I said, the players just didn't seem up for it. For me, all of the blame is on the players for this game. Like, Poch doesn't get much blame. Maybe the team selection was a bit odd. But all of the players, they have to be accountable for this game because it was absolutely horrific. Alright, Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 3. Goals from Elanga, Gibbs White, Ferguson, and a brace from Joao Pedro in a fantastic game. So we start with Brighton. This is massive. This was a massive victory for them. And you saw the way De Zerbi celebrated at the end. He knew it. He knew it was massive for them. And the reason it's so big is because they have been struggling. They haven't won a Premier League game in quite a long time. They're coming up against Nottingham Forest, who are best teams at home in the league. Tough place to go and win. They have tons and tons of injuries. They've been struggling in the league, as I said. Confidence has been a bit low, but they dug in, and I think this was back to Brighton's best. This was almost the Brighton we saw last season. They were fantastic, scintillating football, controlled the game, nice football, and created tons of chances. And yeah, that was huge for Brighton, exactly what we needed. I thought Evan Ferguson, incredible, absolutely incredible, fantastic finish for his goal. Charles Pedro, lovely header as well. Terry Lampley, that was unfortunate, came back from injury, got injured again, which is annoying. Verbruggen, I've slated him a little bit this season, but he came up with a massive save at the end. It was huge, and I also forgot to mention that the reason this is even better is because they had 10 men Brighton. Lewis Dunk, their captain, got sent off for the funniest thing ever. He got booked 2 yellow cards in about 5 seconds, probably the quickest red card in history, for dissent to Anthony Taylor, and apparently, he called him he called him a bald. I'm not going to finish the sentence there, but that's just hilarious. That's hilarious. Fair play, Lewis Dunk. Although maybe a little bit immature, but that was huge for Brighton. Forest, to be honest, I think they were unlucky. I thought they were unlucky. They came up against, as I said, Brighton, who were looking back to their best in this game. They had plenty of chances in the game. Could have equalised right at the end. As I said, Verbruggen pulled off a stunner. Their performance wasn't too bad. I thought Murillo was fantastic. But yeah, unlucky for Forest. Not the worst performance by them. And came up against a Brighton side who were fantastic. So, not bad. Sheffield United 1, Bournemouth 3. Goals from McBurney, 2 from Tavernier, and 1 from Justin Cliver. Yeah, this was not good for Sheffield. Not good at all for Sheffield United. Firstly, I think it was Cliver's goal. Where's Foderingham? What on earth was that? Absolute howler he had for that. Really, really poor. But I think this was really damaging for Sheffield because Bournemouth are a team who are in and around those relegation spots right now. And you're at home, you're going to want to put in a performance. But they just didn't. And they made it so easy for Bournemouth. We'll get on to Bournemouth. I thought Bournemouth were great, but Sheffield made it really easy. Gave them so much time, so much space on the ball. And they just couldn't cope defensively. They were getting picked apart. And yeah, this was not good for Sheffield, especially because in the last few games I thought the performances have been much better. I thought we were seeing improvements by Sheffield, and that this is just 2 steps back for Sheffield United. Not good at all. Bournemouth though, fantastic. That's 3 wins in their last 4 games. They were scintillating, fully deserved the victory. Look at that, 23 shots, 11 on target, and Iraola ball is in full effect. Now I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of did. I told you guys when they were losing games. Look, I can see the style of play. Give them time, give them patience, and I think it's finally clicking. Because wow, the football is fantastic. Going forward, it's so good. They just push so many numbers forward. Semenyo, Cliver, Tavernier, Slanky, all these guys just pushing up and grabbing shots, grabbing goals. They had weapons off the bench, Sinistera, etc. Looked really good. And I said Bournemouth are in and around the relegation zone, but I actually think Bournemouth will be fine from what I'm seeing from them. I think they're going to be completely fine and don't have to worry about relegation this season, but maybe that'll come back to bite me. Alright, Brentford 0, Arsenal 1. Goal from Kai Havertz in the 89th minute. Yeah, pretty crazy this one. Now Brentford, this is unlucky. That was a really unlucky game for them because I thought they well and truly deserved something. They were really, really good. They held out Arsenal, limited them to barely any chances were so good. They also had a couple chances of their own, big ones as well, couple off the line as well. I thought Brentford were really good. It was just at the end they just lost focus. No one tracking at the back post, not stopping the cross earlier. Just a little bit disappointing for Brentford, but look, they held out really well. And they can be disappointed, but proud of that performance against a really good Arsenal side. Now, Arsenal, I mean, there's quite a bit to say on this one. Firstly, I think overall, job done. Come to Brentford, which Brentford away is one of the hardest fixtures in the league, if you're a big side in my opinion, because they're a side who not many teams go there away from home and blow them away. Every single top team struggles at Brentford away, so to just get the win, that's really all that matters. Well done to them for that. Now the performance for me was not good though, and it hasn't really been good all season, which is a little worrying for Arsenal. I really think their performances are worrying. They are not blowing teams out of the water. They are struggling to create some chances in a couple of games. Defensively they are pretty solid though, which is a good thing. Especially this season they've been really good at the back. But there were a couple of key moments. Firstly, Kai Havertz. Fair play Kai. I like many have doubted him, kind of laughed at him, called him a flop, said I doubted the signing. I still don't think it's a great signing, but 89th minute winner off the bench. Is this the goal that's going to kickstart his Arsenal career? Potentially. I mean, Arsenal fans surely hope so. I'm not sure it will, but either way, if Arsenal win the league by 2 points, then they can look back at this moment and say, Kai Havertz, he definitely contributed to that, winning this game for them. But Ramsdale was a big talking point as well. Ramsdale, of course, came in because David Raya couldn't play against his own side, and he had a stinker. He had an absolute stinker. As I said, Brentford had some chances, cleared up the line, and that was all because of Aaron Ramsdale and his poor distribution. It looks like his confidence is completely gone, and he did not help his case to get that number 1 shirt back at all. This was a big opportunity for him, and he fluffed his lines, completely fluffed his lines, so that was not good for him. But yeah, good win for Arsenal. Alright, Spurs 1, Villa 2, Giovanni Lo Celso, Pau Torres and Ollie Watkins with the goals. Now Spurs, that is 3 defeats in a row for them, which is not ideal, but I think we kind of saw this coming. Firstly, I mean, they were overperforming at the start of the season, so it was always going to be a time where they come back to reality, and that is kind of what happened. But also the amount of injuries they have is ludicrous. Like, look at this defence. They literally fielded a back line of fullbacks. Emerson Royale centre back. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then, in the midfield, Bentancur got injured, which is a big blow. Again, just come back from injury. No Madison. Look at the bench. It was really poor. So we kind of expected this. The depth, we've always said, is a big issue for Spurs, and it's kind of been exposed here. However, in terms of this game, I think they were actually kind of unlucky because they had plenty of chances. They were by far the better team, I thought. They just couldn't put their chances away, which is their fault. You don't take your chances, especially against a team like Villa. You're gonna get punished. Villa are that side who can smash and grab you, and Spurs were made to pay for all those missed chances. And speaking of Villa, it was a bit of a smash and grab, as I said. Spurs had a lot of chances. They could have killed that game, but Villa, they dug in, came back from the goal behind, and won the game. Ollie Watkins as well scores again. Fantastic. Douglas Luiz was great, and Villa is another win. It's another win away from home as well against a big side. Their away form is definitely picking up. Their home form, as we all know, is sensational, but the away form is the thing that if they're going to get top 4, they need to improve, and it's improving now. That's a away win against Spurs, that's a away win versus Chelsea. Things are looking good for Villa. Could they get top 4? I don't know, I think they might fall away, but way they're playing, they are definitely a top 4 side. Alright, finally, Everton 0, Man United 3, goals from Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. Alright, let's just address the elephant in the room. So, Martial's got one of the goals of the season. Of course, Garnacho. Wow. The thing that makes it more impressive for me is that it is Garnacho, and no one really expected this guy to do that. Like, if you would have said to me, a Man United player today is going to score overhead kick, I'd be like, probably Rashford, maybe even Martial, Bruno. I would have said Garnacho. And it was absolutely incredible. Where does it rank in terms of overhead kicks? I'll let you guys decide that. For me, it's not the best I've seen, but it's definitely up there. And in terms of performance for Man United, it was pretty decent. Now, they did have to ride their luck a little bit. Like, Everton did have a lot of chances, as you can see. Defensively, you know, they were a little bit shaken. Andre Onana had to pull off some fantastic saves. But credit to Onana. We slayed him at the start of the season, but he's really, really stepped up recently. Big performance by him. Kobe Mainu, though, fantastic performance by him. Come back from injury at that age in United midfield, one of the most pressurised positions in the league, and he looks so comfortable, so composed on the ball. He looks like a real talent. I don't want to heap pressure on him, but he looks really, really good, and that could be a real good addition to that Man United team. Martial as well, to be fair, almost finished for him. Good to see him get back on the score sheet, and overall, you know, it's crazy. United are actually 6th and not that far away from the top. I don't know how this has happened, but it's a positive because they have performed so bad, yet they're still winning games. And United, you know, they're winning games against those bottom teams, which, you know, if you just win all your games against the bottom half teams, you're in a good position in terms of top 4. So, good win for United. As for Everton, I mean, this was a bit disappointing. I think it was not a 3-0 game. As Everton had plenty of chances, they just completely missed their chances. Onana pulled off some great saves, and I think they were just unlucky, you know. Obviously, it was a big cauldron of an atmosphere, and then to concede a goal like that inside 3 minutes just took the wind out of them, and you know, there's not much you can do about that. It was unlucky for Everton, and as I said, I don't think it was a 3-0 game. I think they definitely deserved at least a goal, and wasn't the worst performance by them. But there we go. Alright, time for Player of the Week. Player of the Week, honourable mention to Jacob Brown, Kai Havertz, Mike Willise, and of course Alejandro Garnacho, but I've given it to Lewis Dunk for violating Anthony Taylor, because we've all wanted to do that at some point. Worst player of the week, Aaron Ramsdale for that stinker, and VAR mess up of the week, I'll give the Burnley penalty. For me, I thought it should have been a pen, but there we go. That is my review. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and if you have enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subscribing.